This Remington 700 has been point bedded, so that's the action there, it's bedding material there, and the tang, there's bedding material there. So that's wrapped around, these tapes around the action to support the action and to make that free floated in there, so it's only contacting there and there. So that supports the action from just dropping down. And that's to keep the barrel free floated and centered in the stock. That's just wrapped around after it's put in to stop it flopping about. There are blind studs, which are bolts with the heads cut off. They were waxed. A bit of epoxy just came off there. And there's tape around the top of those studs, two or three wraps up in there to center those studs in the action screw holes, so that the action screws are centered and not touching the stock on either side. That was dremeled out, the wood in under there, drilled a bit for divots, the same there. I've used JB Weld. Marine Tex seems to have a better reputation, but JB Weld's got the expense and availability. So the question is, will it pop out? So the action's just been popped out of the stock. There's the tape to center the blind studs to keep the action centered in these holes there. Those holes got to be drilled out. There's a bit of spill over there, but there's a little step, so it doesn't really matter. I might just leave that. Let's get the angle. There's a bit of overflow there. There was tape on the front part of the lug there, so that shouldn't be interfering. I might file that, flatten back a bit, but there's a bit there too, but that shouldn't matter at all either. That little bit of rubber came out from there, foam. There's a tiny bit of overflow there, a tiny bit. The shadow makes it look big, but it's not that much. That'll be easy to file back if need be. So next is to take the tape off the actions, take out these blind screws. That one moves. Blind studs. That one moves. See the tape's a bit threaded up or wrecked after being hammered out or pushed in. And then we'll see how it sits in the action. So holes drilled out. There's a little imperfection there. I'm sure that doesn't matter. You can just see there's a tiny chip off there. There's a little tiny imperfection there too. Pretty sure that doesn't matter. There it is. The action seems to be floated. Might relieve around those two little screws a bit more. Next was kiwi polish. I've had 2 successes with that. It seems to go on fairly thin. So the kiwi polish was placed in there, all over the action. There was tape around the outside of the lug to float that, and more tape on the front, so I'm not too concerned about the overflow in the stock. Doesn't look perfect, but the main surfaces are there and there, and I've been told to keep these surfaces floated. So one line of tape was wrapped around up to there, which stopped it from flowing into that recess. And of course I used, the release agent all over there, the release agent being the kiwi polish, all over the blind studs and into the action screw holes to be sure. I discovered that void in there. But that doesn't matter. It's that face there for the bolt lug, recoil lug, and there that counts. So it should be free floating all the way forward of that. Some people fully bed the recoil lug, but I was told to keep it free floated, just so that it contacts there. This was glass bedded in the old-fashioned style a long time ago, so there was a huge chunk of fiberglass there. You can see all the holes where they've drilled, and it's the remnants, all those dots are the fiberglass remnants of the previous bedding job. The old-fashioned way to do it, I'm told, from probably quite some time ago. That bit of wood there's been sanded out to be relieved for the trigger tech diamond, so the trigger's not touching. Might increase that a little bit, might give this a coat of Estopol, and that barrel might Estopol that too. Maybe that'll need to come off for the safety, I don't know, we'll see. But I can Dremel those bits out if need be. All in all, pretty happy.